Hi, my name's Alex. I have argued enough for a lifetime. Sit back, relax, and listen. Most of all, share your thoughts too, and of course, subscribe and hit the bell so I can continue making content like this. On to science, smartphones, and nerds. I once gave a presentation based on the thoughts of imagination and mathematics, which is a video in the audio science playlist. Check the link below. After the presentation, an audience member approached me and expressed the opinion that the actual everyday use of mathematics should be discussed in school, and with the youngest pupils already, in terms of how powerful a tool it really is. The children would then have the best possible starting point to decide for themselves what to build up with that tool. There is no doubt in my mind that one should discuss what maths is and what it can do with young kids already. The question to me would be how to do this in the best manner possible. Sometimes, when I talk to people, I get the impression that many have rather strong opinions on what they need of mathematics in their lives. Those would be things that are not really mathematics, like 1 + 1 = 2. If you know how to do that and master some multiplication, you will understand your insurances or your cell phone contract. Strangely, it doesn't seem to help to point out that neither houses nor cars can be raised or produced just on the basis of 1 + 1 = 2. Or that there is so much more to do with maths than you would think. The same holds true for all of science, actually. Now, to interject quickly, computers ironically reduce everything to 1 + 1 = 2, or rather 1 + 1 = OB10. In addition, medieval architects needed only the most rudimentary of mathematical knowledge, the way we understand that expression today. Just look at your smartphone. You use it every day. What a great little device it is too. It has a touchscreen, which means that your body is full of electric charge and in fact conducts electricity. Your phone has an antenna, which you can read as a satellite communication system, which is constructed on the principles of fractal geometry, which in itself is part of nothing less crazy than chaos theory. It contains microphones and loudspeakers, custom-developed materials in its surfaces, somewhat interesting batteries, and many other fantastic little bits and bytes nobody ever talks about. Still, there aren't all that many people today who are fascinated by the inner workings of a smartphone. Why? Because it is nothing special to have one. It just works, or you have seen it before. Whenever I hear somebody talk like that, I want to ask straight back, you have seen UHF radio waves? I don't answer like that, of course. At the end of the day, I don't really have a problem with somebody just accepting that they don't know something. I'm like that too. Apart from not even beginning to understand what superstring theoreticians really talk about, I can't clean windows without them looking dirtier than before. Ask my wife. I'm hopeless at cleaning windows. And I'm hopeless at string theory. The problem starts, at least in my eyes, when a public person like, for example, Norway's Prime Minister in 2014, while opening the science center I've alluded to in other videos, more than hints at finding science mystifying. Or worse, when people think it's nerdy or weird to do stuff like that, to spend your time with books and films about the universe, quantum physics, or aerodynamics. I'm not prepared to venture a guess as to why science makes people react in such a strong manner. I don't know. What I do know is that it is one thing to say that you can't do something. It is another, but still not really all that bad thing, to say that you're not interested. It is something else, though, to draw a line in the sand and hide behind condescending words like weird or nerd. I once witnessed a conversation about the technology behind smartphones, which developed in the comment section of a social network. After a short while, there came a sweeping generalization of rather rude character, directed at what was called the collected nerddom. And no, I don't just make up this rather awkward word, it was really there. And here comes the unabridged answer. You do tell me that you're proud to not know what all these means. You do tell me that you look down on those who know all of this. You do tell me that they're nerds. Thank you, I say, because I am one, a nerd, and I'm just a tiny little bit proud of it too. Fortunately, I don't stand alone. If not into yours exactly, it still begins to find its way into people's heads who, it is that develops all these fine things the rest of the world, including you, like so much to play with. Call me a nerd if you want to, but don't expect me to cry. I won't throw a tantrum. I'll just get sad. And what is worse, you have no idea what you're missing out on. The last sentence there resonates with me. I've got another video talking about Richard Feynman and flowers. I'll put the link to the original recording of what Feynman said in the description. Click on that link. This is Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize winner, and one of the greatest science communicators in modern times, who talks about beauty. To me, he seems a little desperate about most people not knowing half of the wonders of nature. That is unfortunate, for even though science can be difficult, it doesn't need to be mystifying. Unless, of course, the patience to learn is one of the challenges you face in your life in general.